Everybody, welcome back or welcome to the channel. All things Marvel Snap here. This is my WolverSNAP channel. If you want to subscribe, all that stuff, appreciate it. In this video, we're going to be talking about what does 10,000 credits get you. We're going to go through some simple math on that. I've got 10,000 credits right now, so I'm also going to do an opening. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how you lose value in those credits as well. So there's a lot to this, and I'll eventually have a follow-up to video on this too with some time stuff. So let's get into it. So like I mentioned, you can see here above my head, 10,000 credits. I've been playing for about 3-4 weeks. I did buy the premium pass last season, though I want to note to you that the premium pass only gives you about 300 credits. Anybody who's not seen my stuff before, I tend to do spreadsheets because when I give advice or make decisions, I like to see data. So I end up just by default making these spreadsheets. I don't love doing it, but I need the information to make decisions. I went ahead and made a spreadsheet for the premium pass that showed that. That's not what this video is about. I did make another spreadsheet about the ladder, the climbs, the credits, all that sort of thing. And I got to the point where I wanted to make this video because as you can see in the that I'm capped there, I've got these 100 credits in the new season. I'm like, up, and it says I'm full. I can't do anymore. So I'm like, oh shoot, all right, you know what? Since I can't do anymore, I kind of want to talk about what it gets you, and I want to show you exactly what that is. Now, I do want to give a disclaimer for a lot of this stuff I'm going to talk about in here about getting cards and what collection levels and all that sort of thing. We're not going to talk about the token shop in this. So if I say anything about you should be, X number of cards into pool 3 in this does not factor the token shop. So just keep that in mind. If you're not aware, there is some math put together for this. Outside of gray cards, when you promote those, everything else in game gets you about 0.02 steps on this collection ladder per credit. Okay, 0.02, whether it's a green to a blue, blue to a purple, all that sort of thing, uncommon to rare, etc., whatever terminology you want to use for it. So with that, I'm about, what am I, 412. That means with math, I spent about 20,000 credits to get to that point. So that's about 200 collection levels per 10,000 credits, okay? On average. Everybody might be slightly different, all that sort of thing. So that's it. 10,000 credits get you 200 collection levels. Video's done. Thanks. Bye. All kidding aside, there is more to this. The credits do lose value as you get further and further up this collection ladder. And again, my nutty self went in and made the ladder in a spreadsheet. I wanted to see how many levels I was gaining, when things changed, all that sort of thing. And in this collection ladder, you can see, like I just sort of scroll through here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I made a bunch of stuff. I made different columns talking about how much stuff you get here, different levels, and then looking at all this stuff over here about how many levels I could gain, credits, But this is the type of thing I like to do. I don't know why, just something I do. So with that math, like I said, I went through this entire ladder through, I don't know how high it ended up I go. And I think I stopped after a couple thousand because there was a path. Once you get into some different caches, which we'll get into in a second, it just repetitive and it doesn't change. So I stopped. Credits, what are the values? So in the first 100 levels of this, first 100 levels, you will get 29 cards. And we're talking cards here. There's a lot of other stuff in this, but we're talking cards. You get 29 cards. In the first 200 levels, you get 51 cards. So that's an increase of 22 from the first level. So the first 100 levels, you get 29. The next 100 levels, you get 22. So you can see that value already dropping. 29, an increase of 29 first 100 levels, an increase of 22 the next 100 levels. Then the next 100 levels, meaning up to 300, you get an additional 13 cards. So again, dropping from 22 increase to a 13 increase. The next 100 level, so in the 400s, you get another 8 cards. So it's dropped from 29 to 22 to 13 to 8. And then next, it goes to 81 total cards, or an increase of 9. So increases of first 100 levels, 29. Next 100 levels, an additional 22. Next 100 levels, an additional 13. Next 100 levels, an additional 8. Next 100 levels, an additional 9. And in that level, from the 400 collection level to the 500 collection level, specifically at 486, you get into pool 3. And there are roughly, at this point in time, 81 cards in that pool 3. I'm going to touch on that a little bit. And at that point, when you get to that 500 level point, you should be about 3 cards into pool 3 with about 78 more to go. A lot. And pool 3 is really where people start getting cards that affect these. Can you still win? Sure, but it becomes more and more difficult without all those critical pool 3 cards. So after 506, you start getting caches. You see these collector's caches. I'm going to show you a graphic here about these in a second, about the drop rates. But right here at 506, that's when that comes into play. Right? That's when you start getting those, and it alternates different things. This is all the way through collection level 1006. And there is an RNG chance to get cards from these. All right, so let's check out that graphic. I want to say this is fan-made content. I did not make this. I found this. Somebody has it out there. So these collector caches, these are the ones we were just looking at. You can see your chances for cards here, right? 47.5, 48, 50. Now you get your 50%. We'll talk about collector reserves later. You'll get, again, 23, 25. And then there's another variant down here. I added that 10% to the cards there for an overall 30%, 35% chance to get a card from that one. So when we're talking about collector's caches, we're talking about collector's reserves. All right, when we talk about these. It's a great graphic, but wanted to bring it up. So like I said, once you hit collection level 506 here, you get those caches I mentioned. And there's a 50% chance to get a card from these. It could be lower, it could be higher, but we're just going to run for 50%. This lasts this way all the way up through 1006. All the way as you climb up this ladder, you get to 1006, and then it changes. But for those roughly 500 levels, there it is, 1006, it changes. But for those 500 levels, that's what it is. You get roughly 10 caches every 100 levels here. So when you're talking about 10K credits, which was 200 collection level that we talked about earlier, that should be about 20 of those caches. And if we're talking about a 50% drop rate, ideally that gives you about 10 cards per 200 collection level. Okay. So if you're in that, again, with that 50% drop rate. So as you can see, and I mentioned, the caches last until about collection level 105. So that is roughly 5 100 level sections or 5K credits. So you're talking about 25K credits there. Ultimately, at the end of the day, in that entire section, there are 52 caches. So that means at, again, 50% drop rate, 26 more cards. Okay. That should leave you at this point about 52 pool 3 cards to go. Because remember, earlier we're saying that after you get through the 500 level, you're about 3 cards into pool 3 with 78 to go. So 78 minus the 26, you get about the 52. So then after, like I said, after that, this is the pattern. From 106 on, this is the pattern. Reserve, credit, booster, reserve, credit, booster, reserve, credit, booster, reserve, credit, booster. You get the idea. So, and those, if you remember, those reserves give you about a 35% chance at cards. So you get 9 reserves per 100 collection level here. 10K credits, which gives you 200 levels. It's about 18 reserves and likely about 6 cards. That means you need 90,000 credits to get the final 52 cards to finish pool 3, again, on average. And that could be about 3 months just for that step. So I'll do a video about time later because I want to double check some things, but you get the idea. So 10K credits can change based on where you're at in the game. Now, like I said, you can see I'm at collection level 412. This is sort of a critical spot for me. I'm going to do an opening at this point so you can kind of see. But before we get there, I do want to say, I don't want this to depress anybody or say, oh my gosh. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that it takes too long to catch up. In a video I saw, there was some talk about some catch-up mechanics. I want to look at that a little bit because I do think they need some catch-up mechanics to help newer players catch up a little faster. Not necessarily to like the end of pool 3, but if we're talking 3, 4, 5 months, depending on how fast and how much people are playing, and they're not really able to get through that pool 3 or get a lot of the pool 3 cards to be able to properly compete, I think people are going to peel off, especially once you consider that pool 3 is going to continue to grow as the more time comes and more cards get into pool 3. So that pool 3, if they keep the system the way it is, and that's just sort of where the massive pool of cards go, and pool 4 and 5 are sort of the end game pools, that means newer players need to be able to get through and into that pool 3 and as many cards as they can as quick as they can. So I don't want to focus too much on what they could do for catch-up mechanics, but I do think it's something they need to think about so that you know, what if a player checks out the game a year from now, 2 years from now? You want to give them something. I've played many games where the catch-up mechanics just don't happen and people quit immediately. And hopefully they figure something out. And the fact that they're already looking to that, good sign. So let's see what I get with my credit openings. So we just finished, got to collection level 615 from 412. So I'm going to go through here and see how many boosters, and I'm going to claim all my credits and boosters, and then I'll come back and in the video, I'll open the rest, the cards and the caches. So through that, I got another 750 credits. Now we're going to go through there and open up all the mystery cards and the caches. All right, so we got 22 to get here. All right, so we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Let's see, first one, Killmonger. All right, was waiting to get that. Pool 2. See what we get up here. Iceman. All right. Bucky Barnes, finishing up all that pool 2 stuff. Nakia. Nothing super exciting at this point. Sabretooth. All things I was waiting to fill that up. Vulture. We're playing with that move deck a little bit. Mr. Negative. And Omega Red. Okay. So now we start getting into the collector cache here. All right. So we're going to see what we get here. Again, we've got 47.25 chance to get a Series 3, a 2.5% chance to get Series 4, and a 0.25% chance to get Series 5. So we'll see what we get. Magneto. All right. So 612. See what the next one is. Collector tokens. All right. There's a 25% chance to get that. So let's build those up a bit. Gold. Rogue. All right. 350 credits. 5% chance there. Daredevil. Mysterio. All right, see what we get. Collector tokens again. Collector tokens again. Only got a few left. Come on. Arrow. All right, move all enemy cards played this turn to this location. Give me something that's really exciting. Hazmat. All right. There could be some fun play with that. Juggernaut. Juggernaut. All right, last one. What are we going to get here? Ghost Rider. All right, so this could be fun on the discard deck. I do like the idea of this one a little bit. I think I could play that one to have some fun. So getting into pool 3 a little bit there. That's where we're at. Sort of stuck at this point. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about those pools. You think anything sort of outstanding or just sort of what you'd expect? So at this point, I'll play around a little bit with my decks, see what I can get with some of those new cards, see if I want to play them in. Nothing really jumped out at me other than maybe adding the Ghost Rider to the discard deck. Those other ones, again, I don't think I've got setups for those quite yet, but we're going to see how painful it is now to be in pool 3. We're at 615. So clearly in that, going to be in this for a while. Got to start grinding those cards. So I appreciate you making it this far. If you want to hammer down like buttons, notification bells, all that sort of thing, let me know what your thoughts are. If you think my luck was bad, decent, just run of the mill, appreciate it. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.